Hi, fight fans, and welcome back to LO Sports TV. Hope you're all doing well. So, following his brutal, devastating, and somewhat humiliating knockout loss to Hamza Sheeraz, Edgar Berlanga and his team, most notably his wife, they've made a series of allegations against Hamza Sheeraz, accusing him of cheating. Now, the core of the allegations revolves around Hamza Sheeraz's hand wraps, notably his left hand wrap. What they're saying is, and this is the wife in particular, she's saying that the wrap on Hamza Sheeraz's left hand appeared tampered with. It appeared yellow stained, that's her words, and looked like a hard, like cast. That's what they're saying. She's also advancing the theory that there was a potential use of illegal substances at play in the wraps, like resin, and that the resin in the wraps would effectively harden the wrap and turn it into some kind of cast-like weapon. They're also saying that Hamza Sheeraz displayed suspicious post-fight behavior, and they're saying that that Hamza Sheeraz did not immediately remove the hand wraps. He only removed one of them, particularly the left one, which they believe is highly suspicious. And they're also saying that they were, how can I put this? They were surprised about the sudden increase in power from Sheeraz's left hand during the fight, suggesting that it became unusually strong compared to the right hand cast, which is most strongest hand normally. And they're also calling now for the New York State Athletic Commission to investigate, launch a formal investigation. Now, personally, I've yet to see a formal response from Hamza Sheeraz's team to these allegations. It could be that maybe they feel that they don't want to dignify the ridiculousness of the allegations with a formal response. That being said, I did see an interview with Frank Warren on YouTube where he was asked about the Daniel Dubois fight, and the interviewer slipped the question in about Berlanga and the allegations about the hand wraps, and he obviously, Frank Warren, he dismissed it summarily and rubbished it and ridiculed it. And you know what? I was thinking, coincidentally, that it's not the first time that Frank Warren has been in this position where one of his fighters has been accused of such allegations. I mean, you may recall famously Deontay Wilder made similar allegations against Tyson Fury after his second fight with Tyson Fury, when Tyson Fury knocked him out in the 7th round to win the heavyweight title. So yeah, Frank Warren's on familiar territory when it comes to that. But anyway, what I would say in counter to the allegations that have been made, and they are pretty serious allegations. I mean, you're effectively accusing the man of cheating. In professional boxing, hand wraps are inspected and signed off by a member of the commission. The commission in this case would have been the New York State Athletic Commission. And I would say as well that the New York State Athletic Commission is seen in America as one of the most stringent and strictest of all the commissions in America. So yeah, they would have had somebody sign that off. Also, Berlanga, one of Berlanga's team, will have the right to observe the hand wrapping process, and if they have any, any concerns, they would be, invited to address those concerns there and then. Now, I'm being told that a member of Berlanga's team was duly present when the hands were being wrapped and raised no objection at all. So yeah, I think that's important for us to establish that. In terms of my thoughts now, these allegations are wild allegations. They're unsubstantiated. And to me, they only make Berlanga look worse than he already has done. And if that was possible. And they just, to me, just make it look further embarrassing for him. I mean, let's be honest here, people. The fact is, Edgar Berlanga got smoked. He got absolutely obliterated. He came into this fight as Bully Berlanga. He tried all that hood shit and he got his ass kicked. It's as simple as that. Berlanga did all that talking beforehand, talked all that gangster shit, all the hood shit. I'm from New York, I'm from Brooklyn, blah, blah, blah. He clearly underestimated Hamza Sheeraz. He should have done his homework. He would have realized that he was in with a real fighter. he showed Hamza Sheeraz absolutely no respect. In fact, he was openly contemptuous of Hamza Sheeraz, and he paid the ultimate price. He also, and this is Edgar Berlanga, appeared to be distracted in the lead up to the fight. You may recall him picking verbal fights with legendary great Oscar De La Hoya, now a promoter. You may recall that undignified and unedifying scene at the final press conference for the fight. Edgar Berlanga got up, taking money out of a bag and throwing it across to in the direction of Oscar De La Hoya, calling him a stripper, calling him all kind of names. You know what I mean? He thought it was funny. He thought it made him look good, Berlanga, but in reality, it just made him look distracted, immature, and childish, to be honest. So yeah, and the way he carried himself throughout this promotion, I mean, you could argue that he was selling the fight. Yes, you could say that. But the problem is that when you lose the way he did, it just totally backfired. I mean, there was always the danger that if he lost this fight, the pre-fight antics would come back to haunt him. And the fact that Edgar Berlanga got absolutely obliterated takes those levels of humiliation to new heights, in my opinion. And if these sort of cheating allegations are an attempt to save face, then I suspect that this will equally backfire badly, and it will make Edgar Berlanga and his team look more embarrassed than he did on fight night. So my advice to Edgar Berlanga is this, really. Rather than make excuses or wild accusations, I think what you should do, Edgar Berlanga and his team, is just like put your egos and hubris to one side. Accept defeat. I mean, you were beaten and you were beaten badly. So humble yourself, accept defeat, and maybe use this experience as a teachable moment. I mean, listen, it's not just so much that he got knocked out. Many great fighters in the past have been knocked out. Some of my favorite fighters have been knocked out, and knocked out badly, just as bad as Edgar Berlanga, and they've come back to win world titles. And these were great fighters I'm talking about. I mean, I can give you a few examples. Lennox Lewis, one of my favorite fighters, he got knocked out twice by Oliver McCall and Hazim Rahman, respectively. And I remember those defeats at the time were quite embarrassing for Lennox. But what he did is he swallowed his pride. He came back. He got his revenge against both of those opponents, by the way, and went on to become world champion and one of the best fighters of his era. Terry Norris, another one of my all-time favorite fighters, he got knocked out badly by Julian Jackson. He came back to win world titles and was one of the great light middleweights of this generation. Manny Pacquiao got face planted by Juan Manuel Marquez and came back to win multiple world title fights. So it can be done. So, you know, what Edgar Berlanga needs to do is accept that he was beaten. Take some time out from boxing, man. You know what I mean? You took a brutal beating in there. It was a bad knockout. So you need to take a lengthy rest away from boxing. Complete rest, stay out the gym. Certainly don't do any sparring if you are going to go in the gym. Regroup. Think about a new career path. You know what I mean? I think it is that drastic. I think you need to rebrand yourself a little bit. You can still appear confident, but without all the over cockiness and, hubris and all that type of stuff. Then get back in the gym. Work on your skills, Edgar Berlanga, especially your defense, bro. You need to work on your defense. Your defense was wide open. Hamza Sheeraz exposed it and exposed you. And then when you do return to the ring, you need to come back with some winnable fights that can, chart your career path again. So, yeah, those are the things that I, in my humble opinion, think that Edgar Berlanga needs to do if he's to get back to, being a good fighter and possibly being a world champion. I mean, to be honest, even if Edgar Berlanga does all of those things, it is questionable as if he'll ever become a world champion, because I don't think he was blessed with that much talent in the first place. I think he's a strong guy, decent puncher. We know that. He does have talent. I'm not saying he doesn't, but he really does need now to knuckle down, work on his skills, put the ego to one side and come again. If he can do that, then I'm sure he can resuscitate his career. But all the excuses, all the allegations are just self-delusion, denial, and they won't serve him well in the long run. And they will, if he continues down that path, to make him look even more foolish. And let's be honest, with Edgar Berlanga, I've got to say this, we've seen this type of delusion and denial before. I mean, after getting dropped by Canelo and widely outpointed, Edgar Berlanga, after the Canelo fight, seemed to go on almost what was like a victory tour, where he was, you know, he was on a lot of different video channels, and you know, I mean, he was waxing lyrical about his performance, telling everybody how well he did. You know, I mean, flashing money, flashing jewelry, saying he wanted a rematch, saying he was right up there with the best. Nah, it wasn't like that, bro. I saw the fight. Many of us saw the fight. You were dropped, and you was well beaten on that night. You didn't come close to winning. In fact, the only real victory that he could take from that fight was that he survived the 12 rounds. I doubt if he even won a round in the whole fight. So his victory in that fight was going the distance, but yet he seemed to go on this somewhat embarrassing victory tour after the fight. And it's that kind of attitude which led into his downfall against against Hamza Sheeraz, believing that he was on a level that he's not on. And I think he was cruelly brought down to earth by Hamza Sheeraz, and I think you should take the lessons out of that and hopefully come again. But anyway, that's my opinion. I'd love to know what you guys think. Please put it in the comments. Thank you so much for watching the video. If you're new to the channel, please like, share, and subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next one. I'm out.